Namaskar and welcome back to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. God, it's been a while since we said that, but welcome to Season 3, Episode 27 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. But before that, guess who's back? Back again. Anant's back.
Hello, friend.
Guess who's back?
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 Na 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 na.
The dynamic duo has finally arrived again.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel to be back, man?
Yeah, it was a long hiatus for certain reasons. But yeah, now that we're back, we're talking football again. Hopefully, our teams will win continuously, ever more, because now both of us are here. And that's all. That's all. What we want to do is we want to just put in good vibes out there in the universe, and only good vibes to the Packers and to the Eagles and to the Bills.
Yes,
unconditionally, because they're the only team that can
save
withstand the Chiefs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started, shall we? This week,
please lead the way. I'm like thinking about that one meme from like the Titanic. It's been 84 years. That's how I felt, man. I missed you, bro.
Yes, sir. Me too. Me too. All right. So this week we're going to be recapping what happened in Week 14. A monumental week for a lot of playoff predictions, and preview what happens this week in Week 15. Now, we are recording on Friday, so the Niners and Rams game has already been played. Good thing we didn't choose that game as our Masala game of the week.
Oh my God.
That would have sucked.
I don't know why I stayed up late to watch that game, but I felt like
I turned it off for a good night's sleep.
I made a mistake, and I didn't get a good sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Amazon is already struggling.
Ted from Amazon had his 2 weeks of vacation. Now he's back at work. The 2 actual good Thursday night games.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's back at work.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's get started with some Dhamakedar news. Unfortunately, this is not so Dhamakedar. This is very, very Kachada news. Pro Football Hall of Famer Randy Moss. Some consider him the greatest wide receiver of all time. Most consider him as the second greatest wide receiver of all time. Is now announced that he is being treated for cancer and is recovering from a major surgery. But so they said that they had found a cancerous mass near his pancreas, but now, so this is actually not Kachada news. This is actually good news. This is how out of practice I've been, ladies and gentlemen. He's actually had a surgery to remove or to put a stent in that cancerous mass and to remove the cancerous mass. He was then hospitalized for 6 days, released on Friday, rang the bell, introduced himself as a cancer survivor. So, yeah, that's good for him.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm wishing him nothing but a speedy recovery. Take all the time you need. And guess what? Cancer, in the words of one of the greatest wide receivers ever, cancers, you got mossed the fuck up.
Yes, sir, you did.
And the thing is, like, I do have family members that have that had and kicked cancer's ass.
Let's go.
And with that being said, cancer, F you, and I hope you rot.
Yes.
That's all I will say on this one.
Yes.
Definitely happy days. So the next bit of news is I don't think we've even heard his name before in a long time, but did you know there's a wide receiver named Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, I think he stole the Mr. Irrelevant nickname from Brock Purdy this past summer because he has been irrelevant ever since he joined the Miami Dolphins for a 1 year, $10 million deal.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant. I think in like 9 games, he had 8 catches or 18 catches for like 100 yards.
It's insane. I mean, why the hell did you sign up even though you're going to be like shunned by like what? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and now Jonnu Smith?
Jonnu Smith is like a red zone monster now.
Dude, like
fantasy as well.
Patriots, what the hell did you Patriots or Falcons? What the hell did y'all do? Burn is probably cursing somewhere.
Yeah.
He's like,
No, it's also because of Mike McDaniel and the fact that they have so many other offensive weapons. It allows Jonnu Smith to be a red zone target. Same with Devon Achane.
And speaking of those details, the Miami Dolphins did release Odell Beckham Jr. this Friday, ending the veterans' tenure with the teams 4 weeks before the end of the regular season. And apparently it was mutual. He did miss both practices this week due to personal reasons. Hopefully everything is okay at his end.
And just Diva, that's personal reason.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, but I know who is a crybaby. My good old friend who has been struck under the Ruksha curse forever, and I'm a salty man. And
no, please do. He deserves all of your saltiness and all of your curses.
No, Debo Biatch Samuel Jr.
Oh yeah, 100%. Even San Francisco 49ers fans are turning on him in droves. The amount of Twitter trolls that appeared against Debo Samuel yesterday after that horrific play that he made or didn't make. Right? It was like a 3rd and 10 pass, and it was an easy slant pass. Nobody's there. You're a wide receiver.
I know, man. It's just insane. Like, and you know what's even so funny? Before all of this, Debo was on Twitter saying like, "Hey, I don't make drops. I need more targets." And the Twitter community guidelines corrected him. And when you know this shit's happening, you know something's wrong with your game. You got ratioed, as the kids would say. But OBJ. Back to OBJ. He did sign a 1 year, $3 million deal with the Dolphins in May. That was worth up to $8.25 million in incentives. However, he had knee surgery earlier in the offseason, started the season in the PUP list, physically unable to perform. They were aware that he was not going to get ready for the start of the season, but so far, in his 9 games, you want to know the greatest stat line ever? 9 catches for 55 yards.
There you go. It was worse than what I said. I literally guessed it. It was still worse.
Yeah, that's all I will say.
Alrighty. Up next, more on the 49ers and their downfall to misery. Yes. Keep it coming. Make them suffer.
Oh, please tell us all about it.
One man by the name of Devondre Campbell.
I think he's a Packer. He's a Packers double agent, man.
Maybe. I mean, that's what Tom Grassi said, so it must be true.
And before that, dude, shout out to Tom Grassi for being featured on NFL Films, detailing the Lambeau Leap.
As a narrator for the NFL Films, he has arrived. Last year, he had arrived as the NFL Fan of the Year. This year, it's even more so. I mean, he's making like guest appearances everywhere. He has arrived.
I mean, he's right now the king of clickbait sports at the moment. Yes. And with Scooter Magruder being a peasant ass. for reasons.
Scooter McPresident. Peasant.
Yep.
Alrighty. So Devondre Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Tell us all about it.
He is now going to be cut by the Niners. He's looking to be cut on the chopping block. Why, you must say? Because On Thursday, yesterday, during the game,
Mm-hmm.
he left inexplicably in the middle of the game in the third quarter, left the game. Just left the game. And it turns out he left the game because not because of an injury, not because of dehydration or not because of a personal reason, but because of the most bitchy reason possible. I'm tired.
What?
Yeah. He was literally like, I don't want to play anymore. At the same time, Dre Greenlaw is recovering from a year-long surgery and repair on his ACL or Achilles, my bad. Fred Warner is recovering from an ankle injury that he's had to play through the entire year because the 49ers suck at taking care of their players. And it just goes to show what a P word Devondre Campbell is.
What a POS he is.
Yeah.
What a POS he is.
It's like and he had
I think he
gall.
literally just like Vontae Davis or Antonio Brown that game.
Almost. And he had the gall during the offseason to say, oh, I'm going to do better this year. The Packers don't know what they're missing out on. He literally joined the 49ers and he was like, I'm joining a team that actually appreciates me. And I'm like, bro, do you everything that he has been doing for the 49ers, he is consistently ranked as like a bottom 10th percentile of linebackers in pass coverage, tackle rate, run blocking, or run stopping, everything. He sucks. He is old, he is injured, and he didn't have to go out this way. He could have gone out with dignity at the end of the season, faded back into the background, but no. He wanted to make himself be more undignified. And this is the way that he chose to go out. And that's good for us. That's great for us because that just goes to show that when the Packers quit on a player, it's not because they're dumb. Everybody thought that quitting on Zadarius Smith, not a good idea. What has happened? He's bounced around like 3 different teams on single-year deals. Quitting on Aaron Rodgers. Did you know how many people were saying that was the dumbest thing that Brian Gutekunst could have made and that the Jets fleeced the Packers during the Aaron Rodgers trade? What's happened now?
Let's see. The Jets got eliminated. The Packers are still competing for a potential wild card spot
and a potential division title too, if everything goes our way. But that's not going to happen. But yeah, the number 6 seed.
I mean, I don't know what to say, but you know what? After listening to the post-game conference from like Charvarius Ward, George Kittle, and Kyle Shanahan, this reminds me of a legendary clip from one of the greatest rants ever made by former 49ers head coach Mike Singletary. And I want to play this for everyone.
It's on mute.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait, can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Make sure this is edited. See if this works out. Can you hear it now? Oh, that's odd because it's the same. I mean, basically, it's a very famous rant from Mike Singletary where he talks about an ex wide receiver of his. You may have heard the name Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis has been slacking, and Mike Singletary says, "I can't. I can't coach, can't play, can't win with him. I'd rather play with 10 players and get penalized every single thing that show up instead of 11 with one guy not doing anything." That's how mean, I felt that. I had goosebumps thinking about that. Oh my god, this is a Mike Singletary legendary rant that I can relate to.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we should do for Devondre Campbell. That's exactly what 49ers fans are going to are doing for Devondre Campbell.
Oh yeah.
You could just see it on Twitter all day long from yesterday and today. They've just been complaining nonstop. So, yeah, kudos to him. Thank God the Niners are failing at just the right time for us. And now next year they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy a gazillion amount of dollars. I just want to see their potential cap hit by doing this. I think
my goodness.
they have. Let's look at the team rankings here.
Yep.
No. But yeah, no, it's just insane that they are going to. So technically, they have the most cap space this year right now at $50.9 million. But I want to see what happens in 2025. They have the 10th most at $66.8 million. So potentially they have the ability to sign Brock Purdy to a multi-year deal. But if they do that, they're done. After that, they can't sign anyone because their highest cap hits next year are Fred Warner, still good. George Kittle, I guess still good. Fred Warner's cap hit is $30 million, almost 29.1. Trent Williams, $22 million. Nick Bosa, 20.5. Debo Samuel, 15.8.
Yes!
$15.8 million to a wide receiver who can't catch.
Speaking of Debo, I actually have lyrics. You know about that one song that I sang for everyone for after that Super Bowl win? Are you ready? Cry, whiners, cry on your road to misery. Whine, Purdy, whine. You got your ass kicked. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Shut up, Debo. You're still mid. So keep on whining and call that on X because you suck. Cry, whiners, cry. Go book some tickets for Cancun, please. WHINERS, whiners. Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, I love dunking on stupid.
Yeah, the downfall of the Niners is here.
I think they have joined the Dallas Cowboys as one of the most miserable, insufferable. No, they're still miserable because they haven't won a Super Bowl since that year. Okay, now the final bit of news is a storyline. You can literally make a Bollywood thriller out of this. Are you ready for the deets?
Go ahead.
And it's been a long time since I've done this, but you're in time for a Ruckshuck rant.
Let's go all out.
Okay. Woosa. Where do I begin? It starts on Sunday. After I saw the Eagles win in spite of ineptitude offensive passing against a Carolina Panthers team, which we will discuss later. What happened at the post game? AJ Brown was pretty upset. It's like, hey, what needs to be better? AJ Brown says passing. Anything else? Passing. And which is true. And I'll get to more details. Then on Monday, I'm getting ready for work, and then I see an update from 94 WIP. That is like one of the flag station radio for the Philadelphia Eagles. Brandon Graham, defensive one of the defensive end for the Eagles, who's out for the season with a torn with a torn pec, but luckily had surgery. He had surgery,
Mhm.
it's successful. He's on the podcast, and he says, and I quote, "I believe there's some kind of dispute between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown." And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're telling us this now? And then, I mean, I'm trying to pull up, I'm on my phone trying to pull up the details on this one because it's freaking crazy. I'm
Mhm.
like, what the hell is going on? Why? I mean, I understand that yeah, I know, and he says this, and I quote, "I know one is trying and 11 could be better with how he responded to things. They were friends, but things have already gone past." I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? What the hell is going on? I'm panicking. Eagle Station's panicking. Everyone's picking up on this. And then 2 hours later, I see Brandon Graham. And then apparently Donovan McNabb comes on later on in the day, and he says, hey, from the QB side, everything has to be better. And then all of a sudden, from the top rope, Terrell Owens comes in and he reignites the feud. I'm like, what the hell is going on with 94 WIP? Then Brandon Graham says, and then he clarifies this with Tim McManus and says this: I just assumed about their friendship, and it made me out to look even worse because I had it all wrong, and now people are gonna run with that part. You think? Brandon Graham, my guy, or as other people have now started saying, my brother in Christ. I mean, I mean, you're an Eagles legend because of that Super Bowl winning play that you did.
Mhm.
He's now the leader in all-time Eagles appearances. But why the hell would you say this kind of shit? If you're dealing with these type of interpersonal things and now you're backtracking it, guess what? The media's going to eat that up. Of all stations, you go to 94 WIP, led by the most unprofessional, uncouth, dumbassery level of reporting I've ever seen in my life. There's also the station responsible for leaking out the fact that Deshaun Jackson was a gang member, and that forced Chip Kelly, part of my friends, that fucking dumbass who traded him away to the Bucks or the Commanders, who's kicked our ass. And Chip Kelly, he's now possibly on the chopping block for him and Ryan Day to fucking losing to Michigan for the fourth time in a row. So fuck you, Chip Kelly. And then, but luckily, I'm happy to say
When did Chip Kelly get into this?
Chip, no. I'm sorry.
You are doing a proper rant right now. Just pulling on thread after thread after thread.
I feel like I'm like, what, the Indian Alex Jones of this shit right now? I'm joking. I could cut that part out. No, I mean, like, you get my point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says this, and then luckily on Tuesday, Nick Sirianni and then Brandon Graham said clarified this that, hey, this is not he puts out this long paragraph. He says, first of all, he apologized to Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, but the fact is, and they said, like, this is an 11-2 team, yet they're upset about the passing game. First of all, I completely agree. The passing game needs to be 100% better because they started running the ball a little bit more with Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Hurts has been throwing late. He's doing an okay job against the blitz, but he's got to do better, which I'll get more. And then Nick Sirianni said, Nick Sirianni actually plays proper damage control. And I will give him credit for this. The one time only he doesn't go full North Korea Nick Sirianni.
Mm-hmm.
He says, and I quote, he didn't think AJ's comments after the game about passing were directly at Jalen Hurts. It's the overall scheme that him and Kellen Moore can do it. And he said, like, AJ Brown's part of the passing attack. Jalen and AJ are both really outstanding players. And then apparently he's talked about them eating lunch together and all that. And then AJ Brown, and then on the 13th, like today, like yesterday or something, AJ Brown is actually being, or Wednesday or Thursday, AJ Brown's being interviewed. He said, like, hey, I said that for a reason, honestly, because we went to Super Bowl and lost. We tried again the next year. It was a 10-1 record, and then there was a landslide. And here we go again. It's something that we can correct right now because we have the opportunity. And he's like, nah, Jalen Hurts and I are good. The reason why the passing was not directed at Jalen Hurts is like the overall combination of this offensive approach that needs to be changed. And then Jalen Hurts said the same thing too. I'm happy about that. But this could have been better if AJ Brown got to do a little bit better with talking about it, because then people will say like you're calling a diva, and then you have some dumbasses on breakfast on FS1 talking about it, especially that bald ass shiny looking motherfucker who's talking about the Eagles aren't that good. It's like, well you're looking at D Biatch right now. Talk about that sorry ass excuse of a team or a franchise. And then with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, like right now, this makes this upcoming game against the Steelers a must win, because we got to now show ourselves. And during this time, AJ Brown switches his IG handle into the Joker. And I'm like, oh God, are we going to get the good AJ Brown or the bad AJ Brown? Because I think he's one of the best wide receivers, especially on one-on-one coverage. He will school anyone. I will say that unbiasedly. And yeah,
this is the definition of putting your foot in your mouth.
Oh no, I'm not fucking done yet. I am not done yet with the story.
For both Brandon Graham and AJ Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown got to do better. And Brandon Graham, my brother in whatever God that y'all worship, please do not air locker room stuff to the public, especially the likes of 94 WIP, because they are a shitty radio station other than Merrill Reeves, who is a legend. And technically Seth Joyner and Mike Quick and Ike Reeves. But screw Elliot Shore Parks, screw James Seltzer, screw 94 WIP. Don't even talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Please, for the love of God, don't even talk to them. I am Rakshak Iyengar of the NFL Masala podcast, and I approve this fucking message. I'm sorry, man. I have to go. Whatever swear jar that we have is already exploded. I think we could pay off our taxes for this.
Yeah, I think we also went 45 minutes into the market news segment.
I'm sorry. I had to talk about this because it's so goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah, and now we're about to go on my rant.
Oh yeah,
week 14 recap.
Anand's assassination character.
Yeah,
we're gonna go with so much assimilate. What's that? Yeah, I figured alliteration.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's the Makidar news. Very the Makidar news at that at that point for the end. Now we're going to move on to week 14 and do a recap of what happened during that week. Well, the Packers played the Lions. Sadly, it's been a while since we've had a proper Packers recap. And unfortunately, it's against the Lions. This time it was much closer than the last time from that monsoon-infested game, but still we lost. It still failed. Now, unlike the previous matchup, the Packers offense actually came to play, and they came prepared to Ford Field. 5 out of the 9 drives were scoring drives. One of them being a kneel down, the other one being I'm discounting the kneel down. 3 punts and 1 fumble. That was Christian Watson, unfortunately, trying to do a circus catch. He couldn't sustain the catch, and he coughed up the ball at the end, unfortunately. Now, 4 of those were touchdown drives. So, by all means, we should have won this game. Offensively speaking, Jordan Love was efficient. Again, Toyota Thon. is on, and I'll get to this in a little bit in our preview part. Jordan Love was fantastically efficient. 12 of 20 for 206 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack. More importantly, no turnovers, which was, every Jordan Love haters calling card for the first half is, oh my God, Jordan Love is throwing a pick per game. Oh, well, now he's not throwing turnovers because he's keeping it efficient. So yeah, he's playing well. He's making the great throws that he needs to, and there were some great throws that he made, especially moving up in the pocket, moving around the pocket, moving outside, making plays with his feet, and then keeping his aim downfield. So that was a fantastic job by Jordan Love this game. Josh Jacobs has been our highlight for the past couple of weeks, and he was the highlight for this offense again this week. 18 carries for 66 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. So that's really good. And a special shout out, Christian Watson, 4 catches, 7 yards, 7 attempts, 114 yards. So he was our main wide receiver this week. And yeah, he did have a fumble, but he redeemed himself slightly when he made a fantastic grab during the course of the game. So good shout out to him. This is where the good news gravy train ends, because we failed in basically every other aspect. Defense, 100 in total, 11 rush yards allowed, with both David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs splitting carries at 14 and 15 carries respectively. Both of them ending up at, more than 4 yards a carry, which is good considering the amount of offensive success that the Lions have had previously against worse defenses. But against our run defense, which is actually a pretty good run defense this year, one of the good things that Jeff Hafley has brought from his coaching career is the strong run defense that the Packers have. But still, we allowed over 111 total rush yards. Goff was clinical. Besides the interception to Nixon, 32 of 41 for 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that 1 pick. And the best part of this game for the Lions, worst part for the Packers on defense, was that they routinely targeted right up the middle behind the linebackers, because the linebackers in zone coverage were constantly not moving upfield. Therefore, they were allowing a lot of those crossers and those slants and those digs and in routes and all those routes that allow wide receivers and tight ends and the running backs to come in the middle, in between the safety and the linebackers. And we were getting hit over and over and over and over. And the bad depth at corner was also not helping. When you have Evan Williams, our strong safety, going out of the game, Javon Bullard coming in with going out again with a concussion, then you have Jair Alexander, who was out, and you are relying on a busted Eric Stokes. He is not good this year. Keyshawn Nixon is a good slot corner, like nickel corner. He's been used relatively, frequently outside as well, and he's been fine, but especially in the red zone is where our weaknesses at secondary severely show up, because guess what? Tim freaking Patrick had 2 touchdown grabs this year, and this what I'm about to share is just an epitome of the shit-tacular display that the Packers showed in secondary.
Did Joe Barry come back?
No, I think it's just we just don't have the personnel.
Yeah, you were with a lot of injuries in that game.
Yeah, there were a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball for both teams. But yeah, you can just hear this is Eric Stokes. This is against Tim Patrick. I still don't understand why Carrington Valentine isn't playing and why Kalen King, who we drafted as a 7th round rookie, he's not playing. We're still playing Eric Stokes. And it's just this bad. Like, you see one move on the inside, boom, done. It's over. Literally, all it took was just one move by Tim Patrick. That's Tim Patrick, right? 17?
Oh my!
I think.
I would think so. I forgot what number he plays, man.
That's Tim Patrick, yeah. So Tim Patrick just had, and Tim Patrick has had like season-ending injuries in back-to-back-to-back years. How do you allow a touchdown to this man?
I have no idea.
Literally one-on-one man coverage. There's no safety help, so it's all up to Eric Stokes. And boom, he just gets lost. Easy, wide open touchdown. And it just goes to show that our secondary depth is not it. And yeah, we did get a lot of safeties, but we got them for depth. Why aren't we using them? In our depth chart, they're literally playing Eric Stokes over any of the younger guys. They're playing it's like if James Bradbury was on your team and they were
Oh
playing
my God! Why are you reminding me of freaking James Bradbury?
No,
Dude,
but
like,
that's the level of frustration that we have. Like Eric Stokes is James Bradbury level of burnt toast, and we're still playing him over potential rookies who could start, like Kalen King, or good players like Carrington Valentine, especially on the outside. So I'm not sure why the Packers are still going forward with Eric Stokes as our secondary outside corner. And when Matt LaFleur was asked this question during today's press conference, I think he said, that's not going to change in the future.
oh Lord,
That's just going to result in a loss. Like, I just don't know why they're being so pig-headed about it. Like,
it's the definition of
the best players.
it was like the definition of insanity or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah. So defense, they couldn't stop a runny Swiss cheese in terms of the pass game. Run game, they were fine. I can accept 100 total rushing yards from one of the best rushing teams in the past 5 years. I can accept that. What I can't accept is the lack of changes that weren't made, and were usually like the same mistakes that were constantly hit on over and over and over again. And it's just frustrating to see the potential of this defense go down the drain, and the potential of Jeff Hafley to go down the drain as well. Because make no mistake, he's a good DC. He's done a lot of good things. Bringing in blitzes on third down, we've never done that before. So that's really good, right? Making sure, I think we're still one of the best third down defenses in the league right now. And over the past couple of weeks, we've had the best pass defense. Surprisingly, the best pass defense over the past 4 weeks. So in terms of passing success rate and EPA per play. So yeah, I'm surprised that we had allowed this much, but at the end of the day, nothing can compare the incredible jobs that the refs did in favor of the Lions. They were
that was rough. It was
players.
rough all game, man.
It was the best job that the refs have done. I think an incredible shout out to the men in zebra and to Roger Goodell for continuously providing us with high quality executive, like S&P 500 level of NFL refs that we have right now. United Healthcare CEO levels of NFL refs that we have right now. So
my goodness,
it's really, really exciting to watch an NFL game with these type of people. I'm just gonna show.
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know.
So
that
these 3 plays, the Lions were not penalized. This play against dumbass Amon-Ra St. Brown, I hope he dies, is not called. Dirty ass player. This play, hands to the face, hands like clubbed to the face mask.
Looks like a
Not
clothesline
called.
from Bill.
Huh?
It looks like a wrestling move, a clothesline.
Yeah,
Oh,
literally. And this, the one with St. Brown, that I think resulted in a touchdown for the Lions. So they probably should have taken that off the board, and that would have been like, that's he's literally grabbing the helmet and tearing it off. And they don't call that face mask, or at least hands to the face. That's at least a 5-yard penalty. And then this one, this I think was a touchdown. The one where the Lions player is holding, literally grabbing Nixon and pulling him down by his horse collar. They're not calling that, and that was actually a touchdown, I think. Now, there was another one, and this is the most infuriating one because they actually called this against the Packers, and it turns out it's not supposed to be a flag, and I will show you. Because it's just everybody was so dumbfounded that they actually called this penalty a penalty. Just scrolling through all of our posts on Twitter to find that one clip. Oh my God, I'm only on December 9th. Jesus. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel.
All right, here we go. Okay. So you guys see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what they called on.
Just a mini collision?
Wait. Right
last night.
there. That is what they called. Literally, just keep watching number 9 here, Christian Watson.
Yep.
Keep watching number 9, Christian
Late
Watson.
PI flag.
That is what they called OPI on. That literally took out the game-leading, potentially game-winning touchdown for the Packers off the board, and then we had to settle for a field goal, which allowed the Lions to go for the game-winning field goal. And it was I can't believe they called
Against
that
Green Bay last night. Obviously, a
pass interference. He's literally running his route. What do you expect him to do? He's running his route, and they still called that offensive pass interference.
massive turning point in the game.
A great play by Jordan Love.
All right, so the late PI flag against Green Bay last night.
I mean, look at it. He's off his foot, off both of his feet when he makes that throw. Now, clearly, Josh Jacobs is wide open.
Oh, yeah.
But still,
Night.
he
Obviously,
still has
a
to make
massive
that
turning
throw.
point in the
Josh
game,
Jacobs still has to
okay?
make that move. But it's unfathomable to think that they called that stuff, but they didn't call the egregious penalties that the Lions committed. And all the Lions fans on Twitter are like, see, this is what happens. Now you know how we feel. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. This is wrong. All right? Fix it. If you guys were complaining at the same exact time. So I don't really care about all that. Oh, but this is how we've been going on for previous years. Now you know how we feel. I don't really give a shit about that. Okay? I only care about the fairness of this game today in the present tense, right? Because this game was a close game, 34-31. That's how close it was. It literally took the last game-winning field goal drive and by the Lions to actually win. Now, I do want to say that there is one thing that the Packers defense messed up the most, and it's fourth down conversions.
Oh my God.
4 out of 5 converted fourth down attempts for the Detroit Lions offense. And they made the ballsiest move I think a coach has ever made. And that is to go for it on fourth and like short, fourth and inches, I think, or fourth and no, I think it was like 4th and 1, 4th and 2.
It was a couple of fourth downs, but
And they were in field goal range. All they needed to do was kick a field goal, but they actually went for it. They converted it. They got more yards, and they ended up kicking a short field goal to win. So things have to be better, but we have the opportunity, Packers. We have the opportunity to make it third time the charm. We have the opportunity. So take it with both hands. Eviscerate the Vikings after this week. Right? I think week 16 is when we face the Vikings. I just want you to murder them in US Bank Stadium. Demolish that stadium. Burn it to the ground. Burn all the ancestors' fields there. Right? Just burn the city to the ground, please. We don't need the spawn of Satan running that city anymore. So once we do that, we'll be satisfied. Okay, once we burn the entire city of Minneapolis down along with St. Paul, escort the Minnesota Vikings off to Antarctica, make them the Antarctic Penguins. Okay, it's just do that and we're good to go.
I don't know what to say, man, but yeah. And now that game, which spawned the 94 WIP shitstorm this week, the AJ Jalen Contro. Eagles win 22-16 against the Panthers. And first of all, hell of a performance by Bryce Young. I think we're seeing Alabama Bryce Young show up.
So happy for him, man.
I'm legitimately happy for him. Yeah. But for me, this game felt like a loss because but it felt like a loss in so many different ways. But hey, you know what? This win, the Eagles got a playoff spot with the win and a Cardinals spot. So we're in along with the Detroit Lions. And Packers, I'm so pissed at I'm like, Packers, you had one job. But yeah. First of all, the man, if I had an offensive MVP, the man, the myth, the legend, you know him too damn well, Mr. Saquon Barkley. Thank you, Giants. Please. I need to get the address of that front office for the Giants so I could send Joe Shane and John Mara a gift basket. Saquon Barkley, he became the Eagles' new season rushing leader. 20 rushes and 124 yards in this game. Broke LaShawn Shady McCoy's record. Saquon still has 1,623 rushing yards. And he's 483 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's all-time NFL single season rush record. And like the offensive line did his job for
He's the real MVP, Cozy Bryant, not Jalen Hurts. It's Saquon Barkley.
I'm not gonna interfere with Cozy on this. But yeah, I think but then again, the passing game, you gotta talk about it. How can you put up 83 net passing yards?
This is why I take Jordan Love over Jalen Hurts.
Stop. Let me repeat this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You got spanked on fourth down. And you know what, Anand? You want to know what happens when you say this stuff?
We lost by 3 points to the best team in the league. You guys barely beat the Panthers.
The same Panthers that almost beat that took the Bucks to OT, and the one that almost beat the Chiefs.
3-win Panthers.
Right. Okay. Let me repeat this again. 83 net passing yards against the defense that entered week 14, allowing the ninth most passing yards per game and missing Jadeveon Clowney, Mr. Clown Shoes himself.
Their
Jalen
best pass
Hurts.
rusher.
You have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in your team. And the Panthers secondary sucks, but so many open looks. I mean, he had 4 sacks on 9 pressures, 3.29 average. Time to pressure was the slowest in the league throughout this week. This is according to Next Gen Stats so far. This game, 3.47 seconds average time to throw, slowest for him. 5.1 yards per attempt, slowest for him. 5.6 air yards per attempt, lowest of the season. And Jalen Hurts' 2024 average time to throw, 3.05 seconds, is the longest of his career and third longest of any QB in the last 4 years. The only 2 longer were 2023 Justin Fields and 2022 Justin Fields. The percentage of dropbacks resulting in no throws, 18.4%, is also a career high. And I will say this, because I don't think I need to go into the passing game a lot more, because there were so many open looks that Jalen Hurts had, and I'm shocked he didn't reach out. Hell, there's a reason why A.J. Brown was saying, what the hell? Passing needs to be so much better, and we had the shitstorm of a controversy. First drive, after 2 good runs, A.J. Brown is wide open on the field for what could have been an 83-yard touchdown. Instead, you go to a check down to Jahan Dotson for a 5-yard gain. And then on a first attempt from the midfield, you're sliding down for a loss of 9 yards instead of throwing the ball away. And apparently that play was called an RPO. And he was worried about the offense being flagged for an illegal man downfield, because apparently that's what's happened to the Eagles. Every time they line up on an RPO, we get flagged for illegal man downfield because the refs are so fucking blind. They need to go to Luxottica or LensCrafters, or they need to chap their lips even more to kiss more ass. And then, I mean, he was literally Mr. Checkdown artist. I mean, and I say, 14 for 21, 108 yards, 5.1 yards per play, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, hey, you got 0 interceptions. Hey, at least you're not turning over the ball. Mm-hmm. But the only bright spot so far was Devontae Smith. He came back from injury, 4 catches for 37 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 red zone touchdown. And Grant Calcaterra from SMU. By the way, congrats to SMU on going to their very first college football playoff in that new 12 team format. And shut up, Alabama. You lost to freaking Vanderbilt and OU. So sit your ass down. But the only bright spot I could see out of this entire game, other than Saquon Barkley, was that Eagles defense. Holy crap. I don't know how he contained Bryce Young. And thank you, Xavier Legette, for missing that catch. But the defense, they held them to the Panthers offense, playing with no holds barred. I'll tell you about this. The Panthers, ever since they Bryce Young came back from the starting position from Andy Dalton being injured, Panthers have been playing more of an aggressive tune, if you noticed. They are playing with no holds barred, and guess what? They have nothing to lose. That is a dangerous team you're playing with. And I got to give a couple of game balls. Number 1, Jalen Carter. He's a freak of nature always. Breaking through double teams and obvious holding calls that the refs miss. So screw you, you stupid red zebra-looking motherfuckers. 2 tackles for a loss and 3 hits. I just hope we have another longest yard in which the character Adam Sandler plays throws the ball at the refs jewels. That needs to happen. And of course, Zach Bond. This guy is everywhere on this field. I don't know how the Eagles were able to get so much production from him. You're expecting Devin White to do that, or hell, even Devontae Campbell to pull off some shit like this. But guess what? Against the Panthers, Zach Bond, 11 total tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 QB hits, and 1 sack. And this is a good from Brandon Lee Gouton of BGN, and this was on Blue Sky. Zach Bond in 62 games with the Saints, he's had 88 total tackles, 66 tackles for loss, 8 QB hits, 1 interception, 2 sacks, 2 pass defended, and 0 forced fumbles. You want to know what he has in 13 games with the Eagles?
Go ahead.
129 total tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, 5 QB hits, 1 interception, 3.5 sacks, 3 passes defended, and 4 forced fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
And because of him, Nakobe Dean is playing so much better. And the Georgia boys are doing Chauncey, and I want to talk about this man. Chauncey mother effing mother loving Gardner Johnson, or I like to say it, CJGJ. He is the tone setter, rock header, rap dealing, flex header, flex wheeling dealing, son of a gun. I don't care about how much I messed up.
You're that excited.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy he's so back.
Uh,
And he said, and you know what? On the very first drive on that second or third down, he laid a hit. He basically delivered a lick to Xavier Legette.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a legal hit. Third and legal, not illegal. It's a legal hit. He throws it to and Bryce Young tries to throw a pass to Xavier Legette. Boom! Pops him. And then also on the second quarter, like late in the second quarter, after it's 10-7, Bryce Young is running a 2-minute drill. 1 minute 56 seconds on a 3rd and 3. I thought this was an incredible play. I am going to try and share my screen. And you know how I said Chauncey Gardner Johnson is the tone setter, rock hitter?
Mm-hmm.
First things first, I want to talk about this guy right there. Xavier Legette. I believe he's going to be over there. Darius Slay is up there. And then Bryce Young, where's he going to target? This guy right there? Xavier Legette. Watch what happens.
It's just loading.
Oh, it's loading for you?
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so this is Xavier Legette.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a third and 10 shotgun formation.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan McCollum is playing for Reed Blankenship, who is out for this game. CJG is right there.
Yeah.
And Darius Slay is there. You're going to see Legette run up an inside route.
That's an inside slant right there.
5-yard slant. Guess who's waiting for him? Hello. Say hello to my little friend.
Huge hit. Yeah, that was a hospital ball by. Well, it's not really a hospital ball. It was just a big hit by CJGJ.
And this is one of my other. This was another good play I really liked. Again, by Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Let me know if it's already done loading for you.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, so set 3rd and 3. Bryce Young.
Wait, no, it's still buffering. Hold up.
Oh no, what's going on? Oh no! No! This is what happens. You're dealing with North Korea level. Okay.
Oh, media cannot be played. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Wait.
Let's just move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, it's on a bad play. I think Bryce Young was trying to target Adam Thielen, but he's being double coverage this time with Darius Slay. And Chauncey Gardner Johnson jumps the route, like in between, makes a catch, and returns it for an interception. That drive leads to the 10-14 lead the Eagles put up. And I have to give another game ball to Darius Slay. Darius Slay had a weird game, but And I think he was giving up a couple of potential big plays, but guess what? When it mattered the most, the last two Panthers drive, which resulted in 4 turnover on downs, Darius Slay forces the incompletion, bats it off one against Thielen, and then the other one bats it off against Thielen on that final drive. And Cooper DeJean, he's been playing really good as a rookie, but he had his welcome to the NFL moment. And he was up against a veteran receiver in Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, 9 catches for 102 yards. He killed. I mean, you can't do any. I mean, with the way that he's been playing, Cooper DeJean, it's like, yep, he's gonna have his rookie moment. Welcome to the NFL. But I was thinking, like, hey, this is what he has to learn. You're not gonna get easy games like this. And I mean, Quinyon Mitchell wasn't even hurt at all because he was just busy locking down. I think he put someone in Quinyanamo Bay. But I will say this. Another thing that was very surprising for me was not being able to stop Chuba Hubbard in this game because he had because one of the strengths of the Panthers was that run game, and when they used more of Chuba Hubbard, and unfortunately for Jonathan Brooks, we find out that he has a torn ACL.
Again, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really
sad sight to see.
It's really unfortunate, and I really do hope for the best for him. But I'm trying to pull up Chuba Hubbard's stats because I think he was very effective in the run game. 26 carries, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, well done. Bryce Young, 19 for 34, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 sack. I mean, he was escaping sacks everywhere. And Xavier Legette, he almost had a cat at the end zone, but then he misses it. It was ruled an incomplete pass. But we have to talk about a couple of things. Jake Elliott, he missed a field goal beyond 52 yards. He's 0 for 5 or 0 for he hasn't nailed a 50+ yard field goal attempt so far this season. And some people are saying, hey, it's based on Nick. And on the second to last drive, the Eagles' last drive, prior to the Panthers receiving it, there was a decision that the Eagles had to make. And instead of allowing Jake Elliott to kick a 58+ yard field goal, he sends out Braden Mann to punt it off. I'm like, I don't like this, but Braden Mann delivers a punt, and Avonte Maddox stops it at the 1 yard line with less than a minute to go. I'm like, that was brilliant. I thought that was a gutsy decision. Allowed the defense to say, hey, we at least have a ton of room to work with. And it was good. But I mean, overall, there's a lot of things that need to be changed. And I'm not going to go into the full details because I've already talked about it on the rant. I could just go with stats, this, stats, that, and all that. But what we see in the field, this is very bad. The offense has to be better. Jalen Hurts has to throw quicker. We want those hot routes. We've talked about it. Mesh, crossers, comeback, slants.
Or I have another suggestion.
What?
You trade for a better quarterback.
I'm not going to say anything for that. And you know what? Because of this, Packers are getting the Ruckshuk curse. You guys, on your welcome back, and for that, the Packers are getting the Ruckshuk curse. They're not even going to make it to the playoffs if you continue doing this shit.
Alrighty. In honor of some positive news, let's just listen to a video of a 49ers downfall. I just wanted to end off week 14 with this because it's so glorious.
Oh yeah.
The 40 Winers anthem.
Damn. Fuck the 49ers.
Yeah.
Fuck the 49ers.
Yeah.
Fuck the 49ers. Y'all a sorry ass team.
Thanks.
Fuck the 49ers.
Damn.
I hate the 49ers.
I hate y'all.
I hate the 49ers.
Fuck y'all.
Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks.
Damn.
Hey, 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 hey. Y'all lost to the Chiefs.
Damn.
Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, 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 Super Bowl losing streak. Yeah.
Hey.
Fuck the 49ers.
Damn.
I hate the 49ers.
Facts.
I hate that fucking team.
Facts.
Brock Purdy look like Jimmy Neutron for Sheen. Timu Tom Brady got your quarterback from Sheen. Why I hate that team so much, where can I begin? Man, fuck George Kittle, bro, he look like Ben Franklin. Man, fuck Brock Purdy, bro, he look like Ronald Reagan. Man, fuck Debo Samuel, bro, he look like the baby. Man, fuck the 49ers, I can't say it enough. Yeah, y'all thought y'all had this one, huh? Yeah, that shit was just a bluff. And I ain't trying to hear what you gotta say about my team. Cause we both went home with the same amount of rings.
Facts.
Bow, 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 bow. Y'all some booty cheeks. Hey, hey.
In honor of the downfall of the whiners, this San Francisco 49ers haters anthem.
All right.
Alrighty. So that concludes. Oh wow, my my mouth hurts from grinning too much. Okay, so that finishes our games of the week. And because I wasn't here, we're not doing the Masala games of the week. We're not going to move on to the Punch Minute recap.
Roll it.
All righty. AFC side. Tank Bowl 1.
Hurt
Jags,
goal.
Titans.
Okay,
Jags,
before we do that, Anand, explain the rules of Tank Bowl to everyone.
Jags. I don't know why. I don't know how. I think Mac Jones is in the process of breaking a record of throwing a pick every single start that he started. And that's 6 starts so far. He might break the record
Oh yeah.
of throwing consecutive interceptions.
Mhm.
We'll see. Anyways, no need to talk about this more. Both teams are dumpster fires. The Titans even more so. Actually, which team is more of a dumpster fire? The Jags or the Titans?
Can I say all of the above?
No, not an option. Let's choose.
Damn it! I'm gonna say the Titans. How the hell do you put up 6 points?
Yes, but also I think it's the Jags for long term because they paid $255 million to Trevor Lawrence,
Mhm.
and it might end up with a top 3 pick again. Alrighty, let's move on. Dolphins, Jets. This one was a surprising one because the Jets were so close, just like
So
it was
close.
the previous week for the Jets again, but they lose again to the Dolphins again, 30-26 in overtime, and it was painful to watch this downfall of the Jets, especially the downfall of the of Aaron Rodgers, because just during this week, his teaser trailer for his Netflix documentary came out. I don't know if people have watched it or not. It's all about him and his path to redemption and inwardness and nonsense and all that fun stuff.
Past,
So
I don't know what redemption he's looking for. He must be in
that,
Hayakusa. It must be the Hayakusa talking, man.
that ayahuasca is a wonderful drug, ain't it?
Oh, is it ayahuasca? I've been saying
It is ayahuasca.
I'm saying Hayakusa the entire time.
No, it's ayahuasca.
What the hell? Dude, you should have corrected me.
No, it's funnier this way.
I'm saying Hayakusa. Like, what am I saying?
Maybe we need some ayahuasca.
Oh, hell no. I ain't doing that shit.
Alrighty, moving on. Steelers, Browns. We thought it was going to be like that snowstorm infested game before, but it's not. Steelers win 27-14. Uneventful Jameis Winston game. Actually, it was a regular Jameis Winston game. I think he had a pick and like a touchdown. So typical Jameis Winston. Bucks Raiders. Bucks win 28-13. They still are in the hunt of the NFC South division title because that division is booty cheeks. Is it more booty cheeks than the NFC West? Yes.
Mhm.
Actually, yes, because the Panthers exist in that division. The fact
Oh my
is,
Lord.
the fact is, the Bucks are now in the lead for this division at 7-6, whereas the Falcons are 6-7. The
Mhm.
Saints are 5-8. So the Bucks have a 2-game or a game lead against the Falcons in the division lead. So this definitely helped. The Raiders, I don't know what to say, man. Aiden O'Connell, he was fine. He played fine. Unfortunately, he got injured at the end, and it's just, what do you say to this Raiders team? I mean,
I don't know what to say, man.
they have the number 1 overall pick, I think. They have
Keep
been
the
officially
pick.
eliminated.
They have to get Travis Hunter.
No, what the, but, like,
No.
I don't know what they do.
I mean, in the future, you still go with Antonio Pierce, but you got to get a new offensive coordinator. Luke Getsy was not it.
Yeah.
And you need
They
to
might
get
be one of those teams who are forced to draft Cam Ward or Shadir Sanders because they just have,
yeah.
nothing else.
They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. So yeah, Raiders technically are projected the number 1 overall pick. Oh geez. And the second are the Giants. Oh,
And the Giants need a QB, so
yes, but also who? Is it gonna be Cam Ward? Are they gonna sign Sam Darnold? Quinn Ewers, there's actually a rumor that he's been offered an NIL deal of roughly $10 million or like $4 or $10 million to transfer to a Big Ten team. So he might take that over drafting.
He could go to UNC, especially with the big news that Bill Belichick is now the new head coach for UNC Chapel Hill.
But
after
UNC
playing
is
that
not
guy.
in the Big Ten though, right? It's in the
I know.
ACC.
Right, but at least he'll give Dabo Swinney a pain. And
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move forward. Chiefs, Chargers. Chiefs win with devil magic once again. I don't get this. How the hell did they keep getting away with it again? How many refs are in the pocket of the Chiefs organization? More importantly, the Taylor Swift's organization. How many refs are frequent flyers of Taylor Swift's jets over to her mansion so that they can have their Diddy parties over there or whatever. I don't know what devil magic is going on there. How many children are being sacrificed at the altar of Chiefs Stadium at Gayha Field?
At Arrowhead.
No, it's Gayha Field. They need to keep it at Gayha Field. How many children are being massacred in the name of the Gayha Field?
I have no idea.
Spawn of Satan.
Chargers, man. They didn't Charger this game. It was the Chiefs.
They didn't. They did. I mean, they did kind of. They allowed that third down stupid conversion.
But yeah.
But they won with the doink kick. How?
Had it been doink the other way.
How do they keep doing this?
We need the Steelers to win that game.
Yeah. We that's gonna be all time. It's going to be the fight between black magic and the deal of the devil.
No, and the bullshit that is Steelers football.
Yeah.
In the words of
Black
your
magic and Steeler bullshit.
And
Which
no-
will reign supreme? On
Whoever
the day
wins,
of
America's
birth,
losing.
Christ's resurrection.
Bro, we're losing it, man. Get it together.
On the eve of the year of 2025, the Chiefs and the Steelers game will usher in a new year of depravity for humanity with the amount of black magic that will be launched in the name of Christ on December 25th.
Oh my. You're gonna get canceled.
I'm gonna cut myself off.
Please, for the love of all that we hold so dear.
Go ahead. NFC.
All right. Vikings versus Falcons. On its favorite team, the purple incarnations of the devil. That is the Minnesota Vikings. They beat Kirky Kirk and the Falcons Funky Bunch 42-21. All because of Sam Darnold throwing for 5 touchdowns in that game.
Mhm.
D. Alford, the Falcons corner, completely whiffing in coverage, not once, but twice. And Kirk Cousins, I believe, he threw 4 or 5 picks this game. He opened up his bakery.
Mm-hmm.
No, Kirk Cousins with 2 interceptions. I just don't know what to say. I think the Falcons are about to falcon away this division. Saints versus Giants. We have a tank bowl there. Saints under new leadership. They actually won a game. And I mean, Tommy DeVito was playing. It was the funniest ending. Brian Brzee breaks through everything and blocks the game time field goal. Most Giants way. I think you'll talk about it more.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks versus the Cards.
Oh, I got some breaking Damakadar news.
Oh,
Good news, actually. Some of the best news that we've heard this year. Tom Grossi, as we all know, for his insane charitable contributions,
yep.
had recently been, he has had a delivery from Washington, D.C.,
Whoa.
from the capital of the United States of America, where he was sent a flag that was flown over the Capitol in his honor. Look at this. Look at this.
Let's see it.
Look at this.
Oh my God.
See? This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol on November 26th, 2024. So right after Thanksgiving. It was because he has raised over $1 million for various charities on his YouTube channel. There you go. Look at that.
Everyone.
Thomas D. Grossi.
And no, keep this there. Adam, salute. Oh my God.
I just had to share it. I just saw it. I was like,
that's
damn.
like the best news ever, man. Congratulations.
Best news.
Congratulations, Tom Grossi. We love you, man.
He thoroughly deserves it.
Yeah. And because of guys like Tom Grossi and, of course, my boy from the 4th and John and Two Boys Pod,
Bless you.
there's a reason why we do this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Bless you.
Woo. Okay. Back to Saints versus Giants. Derek Carr, he's out for the rest of the season. 20 for 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack. Brutal hit. Don't want to talk about it. It was actually Drew Lock, not Tommy DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
And Giants have a lot of questions to answer. like, what are they going to do on the offensive side? Because they need a new game plan. Defense has been okay. Now, Seahawks versus Cards. Kyler Murray could do all his magic and running around the field, but in the end, Seahawks are just a little bit more talented, especially with the run game under Zach Charbonnet, Kelly McIntosh, and in the passing game, Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf, they're inevitable. And Geno Smith, 24 for 30, 233 yards, 1 touchdown. But Kyler Murray, important. 25 for 38, 259, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Two big interceptions in that game, but I think it was like impossible to stop the Seahawks attack. Mm-hmm. Then Rams versus Bills. Holy crap. 44-42 Rams win. I'm going to say this. Beat the dome moment. Josh Allen wins the MVP. How in the world do you go 3 touchdowns and you pass for 3 touchdowns and you rush for 3 touchdowns?
All-time fantasy football performance. And goes wasted.
But then again, it's all because of Sean McDermott and his defense.
Mm-hmm.
Credit to Stafford, Cup, and Puka, man. They went off. And then Niners versus Bears. This is before the Niners completely collapsed. Mm-hmm. Niners went 38-13 over the Bears. This is a Bears that only produced 4 yards of offense in the first half. That's insane. And then, of course, the greatest game of them all on Monday night, which was a Simpsons game.
That was the craziest thing I ever never thought would have happened.
Yep. The Bengals went 27-20, and Anna, I got a question for you.
That's going to actually lead us into our Masala games at the moment. So
I got a question for you, man. But how about them Cowboys?
They're wetter than Jerry Jones diapers, that's for sure.
We all talk about that one play, but oh no, Cooper Rush is putting up points. Oh no, what the Bengals gonna do? They got Joe Burrow, man. Iceman had like two, 3 touchdowns, had a bad interception, but 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked twice, 33 for 44, 369 yards of passing. Jamar Chase with 2, and Chase Brown with 1 sideline run. That was so close, but hell of a job by him. And Cooper Rush. And of course, did you see Micah Parsons complaining? And he's like mouthing off. I'm like, where, like a little biatch you are. And then, it's so beautiful to see the Cowboys. So if they lose one more and they're out of the playoffs, baby. And you know what? The Panthers are playing them next. So you know what? I'm picking the upset. Come on, Panthers. Just this one time.
Alrighty. So now we're going to move on to the Masala moment of the week. My Masala moment is going to be that Saints block of the Giants game-tying potential field goal attempt. 14-11. It was 14-11. Giants looked out, and we saw that final drive where they were just where Drew Lock was locking in, carving up that Saints defense, only for Graham Gano to have a chip shot field goal attempt blocked because of the big meat hook from Brian Brzee right up the middle to deflect the kick in New Jersey. And you could see the 5,000 fans that were just there because the tickets were like $18 a pop or whatever. You just had to have your entire fan base so deflated by watching that game Who that? Oh my god! It was 14-11 with like 10 seconds left in the game.
Oh
It
God,
was-
that's painful.
I feel sorry to whatever fan is watching that game, whether they're a Saints fan or a Giants fan, because these teams have to show some more effort.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. It just can't be like you're playing for your fans. This can't be the product that you're shitting out onto the field. It's so bad. Anyways, that was my Masala moment of the week.
And now we got to talk about my Masala moment of the week from the greatest game ever. You know what? I have a correction. The Titans, I think the Jags and the Titans should have been the greatest game from your name tree. But I got to share with you a punt. Okay. Before this, can you explain to them the basics of punt blocking and how it should work?
Yeah, so when you block a punt, you should theoretically retrieve the ball afterwards because you made such an awesome special teams play that has like a 10 or 15% chance of succeeding. And
Okay,
all you need to do is keep an eye on the ball when you need to go and retrieve it from when you block it, because it becomes a fumble and it's still a live football.
Right. And with this, I put the speed on this one to 0.75. Anna, I think you're the best person to explain about this. So, punters there. They're looking. Oh. Kick is up. Blocked. Now,
Easy
what
block.
are you supposed to do?
Easy block. Where are all of the he's right there. How do you miss? Oh my god. It's right in his hands. Why are you on? Okay, if you're in the punt block formation, okay, that means you theoretically should be on like the hands team.
Yeah.
How do you? This is like the Seahawks and Packers playoff game all over again, championship game all over again. It's that onside kick recovery, failed onside kick recovery that the Packers had, where Richard Rodgers goes up, even though Jordy Nelson is right behind him, and tips the ball away into the hands of the Seahawks player. Insane. Please continue.
And then, okay, you're supposed to make a catch. He muffs it, and it's recovered. How do you mess that up? Okay, watch the punt thing. Perfect. First of all, great block. I'll give a E for effort on this one. Great block. But now, here comes the insane part after the Cowboys are the same. Okay, so right there. Bruh.
Fire number 27 immediately.
And then the next play, Jamar Chase. I think the next couple of plays, Jamar Chase breaks away for the game-winning touchdown. I mean, this is criminal conduct right here.
Amari Oruwariye.
That's all I will say.
Yeah. All righty. Let's move on. So that concludes the week 14 recap. Now let's move on to the preview for week 15, starting with the one and only. Oh no. No.
I barely
Technical
see.
difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Starting with the one and only Packers, facing off the Dirty Sea Chickens based out in Seattle in their stupid field, loud stadium. It's the matchup to seek vengeance once and for all in Seattle. Now, in the past 6 matchups, we have won. We have defeated the Seahawks. It's just that one stinking memory of the NFC Championship, which was known as the Fail Mary at that time, because it was not a touchdown. It was an interception. It was the stupid replacement refs, as usual. The stupid replacement refs that came in and ruined everything. Anyways, it is time to seek vengeance upon Seattle. Circumstances are different this time because at that time it was a whole different coach, coaching staff, quarterback, everything. The team was entirely different. But the biggest difference is one Mr. Toyota-thon is on Jordan Love.
Why is it called Toyota-thon?
Because last year he was playing extremely well during the months of November and December, which is technically when Toyota-thon is there. And so that's why Toyota-thon is the signal for Jordan Love being excellent.
Yep.
Okay. So while Toyota-thon is on, Jordan Love is fantastic. In the past 4 games, 67.1% completion percentage, 226 yards per game, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 118.8 passer rating. Efficient, elite, all we need to say from his performance. Now, this game is not going to be won by the quarterbacks, at least from the Seattle perspective. It may be won because of Packers, but most likely it'll be won in the trenches. Here's why. The Packers rushing offense is one of the best rushing offenses this year. They're third behind. They're actually 6th in rushing EPA per play and in rushing success rate. So they have a top 10 rushing offense in terms of EPA per play. And in terms of DVO, I think they're like 4th or 5th. So they have basically a top 5 rushing offense. If you want to look at other rushing offenses, it would be the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, and then probably the Packers at that point. So they have a really strong rushing offense. Now, unfortunately for the Packers, the Seattle Seahawks rushing defense is actually very good. And especially in the past 4 weeks, they've the 4th highest or 4th lowest rushing success rate and 5th lowest EPA per play allowed in the past 4 weeks. And even like if you want to consider the competition that they've played so far, right? In the past 4 weeks, they've played the Niners, the Cardinals, the Jets, and the Cardinals again. So not necessarily the best rushing offenses, but you still had to face some pretty good running backs. You know, you had to face James Conner, you had to face Breece Hall from the Jets, and you had to face at that point I think it was still Jordan Mason. So Christian McCaffrey, it was his first game back. So they haven't faced the best running back, so maybe their rushing defense has been artificially inflated over the past 4 weeks based off of the talent that they faced. Now, the Packers is the best offense that they are facing right now. The best rushing offense that they've faced so far this year. Actually, let's take a look. No, they faced the Lions. Never mind. They got steamrolled during that one. And it is it is something to watch out for, because even in that game, the Lions, like when they did steamroll them, they still had, if you want to take a look at the overall rushing stats that they had, the Lions had 116 rushing yards at that point for that game and 3 total touchdowns. Now, I think it's going to be a similar thing and especially in the touchdowns category, because Josh Jacobs, in the past 4 weeks, since week 10, he leads all running backs and basically every skill position player in terms of touchdowns. He has 8 touchdowns, and 4 of them, or actually, I think 4 or 5 of them are in the red zone. So Josh Jacobs is the key weapon for the Packers this week again, especially against this rush defense, because if he can get the run game going, if we can balance out the run game with Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks coming in for some of those other carries, then this is something that the Packers can rely on, and it's going to be an easy victory. If the run game gets stuffed by the Seahawks, it's going to get tough, because now Romeo Doubs, good thing, he is coming back. I believe he has cleared concussion protocol along with Evan Williams on defensive side. But if we can get Romeo Doubs coming back, and we have the full stable of wide receivers coming back, I shouldn't see a problem offensively speaking. Offensively, if the run game does get shut down, it does become a little bit more difficult, because the Seahawks pass defense is something to reckon. But we did just put up 31 points on the Lions, and they, despite the injuries, still have a pretty solid pass defense. So yeah, game is going to be won in the trenches from the Packers perspective, from the Seahawks perspective as well. Now, unfortunately for the Seahawks, their offense is not as strong as the Packers offense are. They're only 16th in rushing offense, rushing EPA per play, and 15th in success rate, whereas the Packers defense, shockingly, 9th in yards per attempt allowed, 9th in total yards allowed, and in the past 4 or 5 weeks, 5th in rushing EPA per play allowed, and 4th in rushing success rate allowed. So we've been a very stingy run defense for the past 4 weeks. And yeah, we had to face the Lions when we only gave up 100 yards on the ground, which is actually pretty surprising considering the amount of or the success that the Lions have had previously. So this is something that the Seattle Seahawks have to try more and more of. But I think they should lean more towards Zach Charbonnet than to Kenneth Walker, because Zach Charbonnet is 9th in yards before contact at 5.2 yards before contact. Or sorry, yards per carry. 5.2 yards per carry, which is 9th amongst all running backs and quarterbacks who run the football. So it is something to watch out for, and I think this is something that the Seahawks have to game plan, is how they use Charbonnet in the running game, whether they, do a lot of outside zone and they try and tackle the edges, whether they try and go up the middle, because going up the middle is going to be much harder, because the Packers play a lot of base 4-3 defense, and especially nickel defense as well, in terms of, that's where a lot of his blitzes come from. Hafley's blitz, they come in from nickel packages when you have that strong safety or that nickel corner coming in as a blitzing DB. So that is something that they would have to be mindful of, is how do they use Zach Charbonnet, especially in the red zone? How do they make sure that the carries that they're giving Zach Charbonnet has the highest potential to be the most explosive? Because he is their best explosive running back out of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, at least on a per carry basis. So for keys to victory for the Seahawks is to feed Zach Charbonnet and feed him well, right? Use Kenneth Walker for your short down distances, but you have to make Zach Charbonnet as your primary if you have a chance to beat the Packers. Now, I don't think that they do because our defense will keep the Seattle run game low. Now, here's the issue. Jair Alexander is out again. Edgerrin Cooper might play. He is, I think, questionable. Evan Williams is playing. But if Jair Alexander is out, we're going to have Carrington Valentine, Eric Stokes, and Keyshawn Nixon as our corners against DK Metcalf, JSN, and Tyler Lockett. I am petrified because if we don't get pressure on Geno Smith, same thing is going to happen. They're going to keep carving us up, across the middle, especially with players like Tyler Lockett and JSN. If we don't put pressure on Geno Smith, expect Tyler Lockett to have a big game. Expect JSN to have a big game. I don't think DK Metcalf could have a big game because he'll probably have Xavier McKinney shadowing him or Evan Williams shadowing him. But make no mistake, either JSN or Tyler Lockett will probably have a big game if the Packers don't get enough pressure on Geno Smith and if they don't stop the run game, because that's when the play action game can open up. Now, regardless of that, I still think that the Packers win 27-18, but I could definitely see a scenario where the Seahawks pull out the victory.
Yeah, I would not be surprised by that, but I definitely need the Packers to win this game.
Yeah.
And
why?
Huh?
Why? Why do you need the Packers to win this game?
I don't want to be facing the Seahawks as the number 2 seed. But I think because if the Seahawks get bumped into a wild card position, they could.
You want to play the Packers?
I think we've handled our bad against the Packers. It'll be a very close game, but this time it'll be most likely be played at the Link. So I trust my chances at the Link.
You lost by 5 points on a field that literally injured our quarterback. We will beat you.
All I could say in the words of the great one, The Rock, just bring it, ya jabroni. With that being said, we have the ultimate battle, the battle for Pennsylvania. What can possibly go wrong?
It's the Steagles.
Yes, the Steagles. As RJ Ochoa would like to say, did you know one time the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles merged to become the Pittsburgh Philadelphia Steagles? And the battle for Pennsylvania. So many storylines. 2 of them, the Steelers have not won in Philly since 1965, from I believe that's correct. And Russell Wilson is undefeated versus Philadelphia. So something's got to give. Now, the Eagles and Steelers are coming off wins and in positions for the playoff seeding for their respective conferences, but there's so many things that can possibly go wrong, so it's time for a checklist. Eagles offense versus Steelers defense. This, I believe the Steelers, from what I recall, are like the number 4 defense against the run. I think like what they're able to do, what you can imagine, a correction on that, because the reason why Steelers have one of the best defenses, you're looking at a lineup that features TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Alex Highsmith, and don't forget Nick Herbig. Like, they play in that rotation in a 3-4 style of defense. And what they know expectingly that the Eagles, they know what the Eagles can do. First of all, the way that they'll try and stack the box, meaning they're going to crowd everything and probably play single man safety in order to stop the run. They'll do their best to limit Saquon Barkley. I mean, Saquon Barkley was get us yards, but they are going to make him earn it. And they want to force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball because of that previous game. And by the way, this is the Steelers defense that leads the NFL in takeaways. And I mean, like, if you look at one game, for example, it's Steelers versus Bengals. The Steelers defense did give up 38 points, but they managed 4 sacks, 3 turnovers, and a defensive touchdown. The 3 things that can kill a drive, that kill any offensive drive: turnovers, penalties, and sacks. But I think especially the addition of Patrick Queen, getting sideline to sideline. This is what the Steelers do best, and this allows TJ Watt to play more of that edge role and attack. And now this is the time for Jalen Hurts to show that, hey, this is what we can do with the Kellen Moore offense. They need to get the passing game going and early. I mean, if I want to say this right, Eagles have to go. I think they may need to sell more on the go full mesh crosser hot routes, ready to go on Jalen Hurts' back pocket. Kellen Moore will have to scream for Jalen Hurts to get this shit ready. And I will say that, and I think and here are a couple of things that could really help out the Eagles. This, and luckily, thanks to the wonderful Shane Half, I will be sharing my screen on this one. If you look at the first things first, against this Ravens offense, against this the Steelers, you have to score first because you know who's on the other side. That's Russell Wilson. Eagles offense against the Steelers defense. Eagles are 17th in pass DVOA, but they're one of the best in rushing. Steelers are negative 6.7 against in the pass, but somewhat in the middle of the range against the rush. Pass, they're able to they excel at it because they can blitz. Because they are known to be big, because they can bring in pressure, and it's incredible. Now, on the and especially a couple of big matchups that I am looking at. If you look at the Steelers pass rush against the Eagles offensive line, it's going to be on strength to strength basis. Pass block win rate, Eagles are third at 72%. Run block, they're phenomenal because the Eagles have that front five, which is really has been working out for them. Start from Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, and Lane Johnson. But going up against the Steelers front, that's going to be interesting. But the pass rush win rate, that's where it gets a little bit complicated because they've been giving up because it's with Jalen Hurts taking too long for his passes or facing off against the blitz. Steelers are going to sell a lot on the blitz, but there's another issue that I believe that can help out the Eagles. The Steelers are bottom in red zone trips on defense. The Eagles have been one of the best in not surrendering in that. So and with dropbacks, Steelers have a top passing defense in the NFL by EPA, but they're also top 10 in run defense. So this is, again, biggest test. So if I am Jalen Hurts, I have to look at this on a matchup by matchup, and you have to throw the ball early. Again, mesh, crossers, hot routes, get slants. When you're running and going ahead of the chains, you're opening up the play action a little bit more. You don't need to, don't turn over the ball, but take risks on those one-on-one matchups. I mean, and if you want to talk about some one-on-one matchups, a couple of things I'd look at. I would imagine Dante Jackson going up against A.J. Brown because if you put the rookie Joey Porter Jr., he's been flagged multiple times for defensive passing interference a lot, and you put A.J. Brown on him, I think Joey Porter Jr. is going to have a rough day. And I think, but again, it could be a possibility where they could put Mika Fitzpatrick and double team AJ Brown or try and put a safety as a box out. But then again, that should also open lanes for Devontae Smith. That should also open lanes for Jahan Dotson and Grant Calcaterra. So if I am the Eagles, you have to get the pass game early. Jalen Hurts has to throw mother loving quick. And I trust Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson to hold off against Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Preston Smith, and TJ Watt, especially on the edges. But TJ Watt can line up anywhere. So that is going to be the key thing. And I would, and I think Yeah, and I could imagine Dante Jackson. I mean, if you're talking about Joey Porter Jr., he's very vulnerable. 2023 in 2024, he already has 15 penalties, 11 of which passing interference or defensive holding. Um, and I would say like with Dante Jackson, he was also a good coverage and hard hitting corner, and also with Mika Fitzpatrick. But Deshaun Elliott, who's out for this game, I think this is where you can win those one-on-one matchups, and you have to get the passing game going. Maybe you get play action started. So that's where I have to see this happen. Now, another big test is going to be the Eagles' defense against the Steelers' offense. And this is Russell Wilson. This is Russell Wilson season, and there's an injury update. The excuse me, getting water. The Steelers are going to be without their best wide receiver, George Pickens, but Russell Wilson has a ton of people to work with. Pat Freiermuth, their tight end, basically now their new wide receiver number, basically their target number one. But don't forget Mike Williams and Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin is a speedy receiver, and he's also very good in special teams. Mike Williams, he may be old, but he can make those one-handed catches, maybe like 3 or 4 catches. And don't forget Scotty Miller, former Buck wide receiver and Super Bowl champ. So maybe it's like, okay, yes, we don't have George Pickens, but you'll find multiple ways to beat you. Maybe like Russell Wilson can also throw the ball quickly. I mean, not just Calvin Austin and Mike Williams. Don't forget Van Jefferson. Don't forget Jalen Warren. Don't forget Najee Harris. And yes, Russell Wilson, who can scramble. And I think this is going to be a matchup-based approach. Do you put Mike Williams with Darius Slay? Do you pair Jefferson and the pick of Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin against Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, or vice versa? Do you also, especially with like any leftovers like Pat Freiermuth or Scotty Miller, do you put in CJGJ, or do you still stick with that 2-man safety look? Speaking of which, let's show in a little bit more stats in this case. Again, thank you to Shane Half on this one. So if you look at the leagues at the DVOA wise, if you look at the defensive version, the Eagles are 5th in pass DVOA, one of the best pass defenses, led by Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean in the slot nickel position, and of course, don't forget actual linebackers that we have with Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean, and the 2 safeties. Reed Blankenship coming back really helps out CJ Gardner-Johnson. Can someone play that blitz role or play excellent coverage? Rush DVOA. Apparently, from what I've seen, like the Eagles are really good against the run, but offense-wise, I think the best thing that you could do is stop Najee Harris, because you have to stop the run. Steelers are second in run, are the second run-heavy team against behind Philadelphia. They run the ball like 51.6% of the time. Najee Harris leads it, but he's not that like super effective like Saquon Barkley. And another good matchup that I could see going in the Eagles' benefits is the Steelers' interior offensive line have 2 good. They have 2 good players like Mason McCormick and Zach Frazier, but I would say the likes of Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter, if he is able to bust through that interior offensive line, this is where I need the edge rushers like a Nolan Smith and Jalex Hunt. Jalex Hunt, who had himself a good game, and Nolan Smith, of course, playing very effective as well. They have to tackle Russell Wilson to the ground because his ability to escape. And also, there will be chances in which Russell Wilson will try and escape the pocket, or if it gets to a 3rd and short and 4th and short, Justin Fields might be in the field too. Because we've seen Justin Fields be effective as a runner, and sometimes when he's passing minimal-wise, he's doing pretty good. I would also, and then it kind of brings me to a question: do you go with a game plan that initially like eliminated the Ravens' offense and forced them to like earn every single yard, and or do you go with approach of like you have to that the Eagles defense has to force turnovers? They're able to do that against the Steelers defense, against the Steelers offense, and win that turnover battle. It will work a lot. And I think like I mean and I think like one thing we have to know is Steelers have played good against mobile QB. So it's something that the Eagles offense has to keep an eye out for. So it's like any and I think has to be another perfect game for Vic Fangio because he's faced quarterbacks that have played that scramble type of offense with mobile QBs like Bryce Young. Although he was able to get one sack, they force him to turn the ball and make some poor throws. And you've worked against Lamar Jackson and maybe Jaden Daniels or whatnot. But yeah, I think with this being said, it's going to be a very close game. But I have the Eagles slightly losing this game 27-24. I think the Steelers, but unless the Eagles can prove me wrong, they get A.J. Brown early in this game, and he goes off for like 100-plus yards and a couple of touchdowns. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw a pick, or the Eagles defense just steps up, and Saquon has another monster game. There's so many things I can hope for, but I honestly think the Steelers are going to win this game 27-24. It'll be tough, but it's going to be one of those wake-up calls, and the Eagles can use that to their benefit and be better in time for the playoffs.
All righty. So that's going to be it for our games then. Let's talk about our Masala games of the week. This week has actually several important matchups. And I think the best matchup this week is the Bills versus Lions. Who would have thought that the Bills would be in such an advantageous position right now? They've already clinched a playoff berth. Now, there are only 4 teams that have clinched a playoff berth: the Bills, the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Eagles. So this is going to be such a fun matchup. Now, going back to my original point, who would have thought that the Bills would be their division leader? Much, more so a Super Bowl contender at this time. Like we all thought, Bills are going to be a good team. Are they going to be a playoff team? Probably a playoff team, given Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and they'll probably pass muster. But they are proven to be one of the best teams in the league, even though they, quote unquote, got worse on offense. If you were to take a look at on paper, yeah, they did get worse by getting younger, but that's actually made them a much more efficient offensive team because they've solidified key role players, and those role players are excelling at their roles. James Cook, he is the perfect complementary back to what Josh Allen provides as a running quarterback. James Cook is also an excellent running back in his own right and is allowed the Bills offense to take it up a notch and not be so Josh Allen reliant. I mean, you've seen several games this year, Dakshak, where James Cook has literally taken the game away from the opposing team.
Oh, 100%. He goes on those breakaway runs. He's like,
right. And he's just like, he just takes the game into his own hands. So that's a surprising or a really positive revelation for the Bills, offensively speaking. Then that midseason acquisition of Amari Cooper was one of the best trades that they could have made. And he's really helped because it takes a lot of eyes off of other receivers like Khalil Shakir, who's their young guy, Keon Coleman, who makes a couple plays here and there, and Dalton Kincaid, their tight end, who's coming up. Dawson Knox, who's a red zone threat. So these players, it's not like it's a superstar, type of a team like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the Dolphins. It's more like the Packers, where they have a lot of role players who are excelling at their roles at a high rate. And that's allowing the quarterback and the offensive play caller to trust their guys. Even when they make mistakes, they're still more often than not succeeding in their roles than they otherwise would not have. So it's allowed them to trust their guys to make the plays and to keep this offense churning. So this is going to be a fantastic matchup because the Lions are basically the same exact thing, except they have much better players, much better role players, and an overall on paper and on the field, a much more explosive offense than the Bills. So this is going to be an exciting matchup. And the Lions are, unfortunately for me as a Packers fan and as an NFC North fan, for any NFC North fan who wants to see the Lions suffer, the Lions are healing up just at the right time. If you look at the Lions practice report so far, in terms of their game status, they only have one player who's going to be out. Considering the amount of players that they've had injured, only one player. That's Trevor Nowowski, who's like a backup linebacker. Taylor Decker, he is full practice, and his game status is listed as playing. Aleem McNeil is back. Levi Onwuzurike is back. Josh Pascal is back. DJ Reader is back. Basically, their entire defensive line is coming back just when especially their run defense in Aleem McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, and DJ Reader. They're coming back just at the right time against a team like James Cook and Josh Allen, who, is a fantastic running combination. So this is something that is going to be one of the keys to victories for the Bills, is just needing to focus on how exciting James Cook and Josh Allen can be in terms of targeting a deep and long running game where they don't really emphasize on throwing the football a lot, right? Because I think that you are getting a healthy Detroit run defense that actually, even without all these players, they're still 6th in EPA per play and 2nd in success rate. And you saw how they played against the Packers, right? The Packers were only allowed, I think, less than 100 rushing yards on the game against the Packers. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they tackle this problem with the Detroit Lions, especially with Jack Campbell in the linebacking core. He's a really good run stopping linebacker. So I want to see, are they going to use a lot more dedicated QB runs like Lamar Jackson does? Are they going to allow a lot of RPO? Maybe they focus on a lot of RPO and play action game, because that could probably help them a little bit more, especially getting Amari Cooper on one-on-ones with play action, with using a lot of motion, with using RPO, getting Dalton Kincaid one-on-one, because one of the other big things for them to focus on is getting one-on-one matchups on their man coverage corners, which the Lions typically play a lot. They play a lot of man coverage. Their corners are not necessarily the greatest. So if you could have a one-on-one matchup with Amari Cooper that you can take advantage of on a very interesting route that picks up big chunks, do it. That's what I would be thinking of targeting. And then, yeah, so number one is going to be getting those one-on-one matchups. Number two is going to be that run game. And specifically in that run game, seeing how many creative touches they can get Josh Allen and use the quarterback's effectiveness in the run game as an advantage for you. And specifically in the red zone to see just how effective this run game can be. Because for the past 4 weeks, the Bills are tied with the Eagles in terms of rushing touchdowns at 11 rushing touchdowns. And they're second in red zone to only the Packers with 4 rushing touchdowns. Now, the Lions are one of the best rushing defenses in the league, and they are so in the red zone as well, having only allowed 1 touchdown in the red zone in the past 4 weeks. So this is going to be interesting to see just how effective this run game is going to be against Detroit's run defense. Now, that's something that the Bills have to focus on. Now, the Lions, defensively speaking, I think offensively speaking for the Lions, they're fine. They are one of the best teams for play action on the entire season. They're number 1. 1,580 yards of play action, right? 10.7 yards per play on play action. And this is the craziest stat. 48% touchdown percentage on play action.
Damn,
so
that's insane.
It leads the league in terms of the amount of conversions, the explosiveness of their play action game. So this is a team that can definitely be defeated, the Bills defense. If we want to take a look at their deep throw DVOA, right, which is typically where a lot of play action happens. Buffalo is, I believe, 8th in the league. And especially one of their weaknesses is going to be against right over the middle. So that's something that they can definitely tackle. They are bottom 10 in terms of deep over the middle. So I expect a big game from Sam Laporta. So, yeah, I think it's a scenario where the Lions need to pressure Josh Allen again. Because if you look at the Rams game, the Rams only got 2 pressures and they allowed 6 touchdowns from Josh Allen. 2 pressures.
They can't allow him to do that.
Like, you can't allow him to do that. Now, you can't win a 42-44 game every single time, but more often than not, the team that scores 40 plus points is going to win the game, right? So I think the Bills squeak by 31-30.
Ooh, that's close.
It is going to be a matchup of the year. I think it should actually be flexed to Sunday Night Football because the Packers and the Seahawks is on Sunday Night Football, and that would probably be a much more effective Fox afternoon slate game.
I would not be surprised by that. Yeah.
Bills Lions should be Sunday Night Football. Like, this is prime time potential Super Bowl preview.
Oh, yeah, beat the doll right there.
Yeah.
Bills and Lions.
That's it for me.
And my game of the week is going to be the Buccaneers versus the Chargers. That, I believe, is going to be a fun matchup. Basically, both are fighting for potential playoff spots. Bucks for the NFC South crown, the Falcons keep on falconing it. Chargers are technically in the wild card position, but they did lose to the Chiefs, so they okay, let's try not do that again. So, again, best matchups. Bucks offense against the Chargers defense. The Bucks, this is actually from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers website. I realized that they're 5th in the league. The Bucks offense are 5th in the league in EPA behind the Bills, Ravens, the Commanders, and the Lions. They're 4th in success rate and 5th in yards per play with 6.0. And this is Baker Mayfield we're talking about. Coming back from another incredible performance, 295 yards of passing, 3 touchdowns, but he did lose a fumble and an interception and was sacked 4 times. He knows that he could be a lot better, so I would not be surprised if they try their best to clean up. So the one way that they can make this work out And they're also facing a Chargers defense that is 7th in pass rush rate, 8.9% of sacks per pass play rate. I didn't know that was a stat, but apparently it is. How crazy is that? Like, 8.9% of sacks per pass play rate. I mean, they almost got the devil named Patrick Mahomes in this one, but they keep getting away with it. It's triggering me. But I will say this. The biggest thing for the Chargers is on defensive wise is how they have to tackle. In this game, you have to stop the run. No, first of all, there's a possibility that Bucky Irving, the Tampa Bay's best running back right now, he's going to be out for another game with a back injury. So it's up to Rachaad White, 4.2 yards per carry so far, but he's an excellent receiving threat. 41 receptions, 322 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But I will have to say this. I mean, if I'm the Chargers, you gotta first of all stop the run. If you're able to do that, I think you have to win. And by the way, if you want more context, the Buccaneers were 26th in rushing attack in 2023. Under Liam Cohen, their new offensive coordinator, they're ranked 8th, averaging 138.2 yards per game. And of course, that O-line and Bucky mother-loving Irvin. But now with Irving being out, it's up to Rachaad White. And if Rachaad White's able to not turn over the ball, that's a good thing. And the Chargers, they have to pray that Denzel Perryman, their linebacker, comes back from injury. Because right as of now, he's questionable. And you basically need all hands on deck to stop the Bucs' yak attack. What do I mean by yak, Anand? I am talking about yards after catch. And this is a crazy stat that I just found about the Buccaneers. Did you know the Bucs are number 1 in yak? Entering week 15, they have 1,984 yards after catch as a team. That's good for 152 yards a game. And guess who their number 1 walking weapon is? The one time I give a thumbs up from Texas A&M, Mike Evans. I think he's already on due for like another 1,000 receiving yards. But
he's like 200 or 300 yards away, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough matchup for Kendall Fulton and maybe Asante Samuel Jr. if he ever decides to come back. And I forgot, Cam Hart, the rookie from Notre Dame. I think he could be the best matchup because he has that length ability. But I mean, it's not looking good in my point of view because there are a ton of injuries on the Chargers depth chart. And if I'm looking at
who I wanted in the draft,
who?
Bucky Irving. I was championing Bucky Irving so much for the Packers, and
they didn't listen to you, man.
I know. Anyways, sorry, continue.
So it's fine. It's gonna be up to the likes of Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Poona Ford, and of course the new outside linebackers in Tuli Tuipulotu, cousin of Marlon Tuipulotu, and to bring in the hurt. And luckily, Derwin James, I think he could be. If you put Derwin James as that box safety, I mean, look at hell. First of all, you gotta give credit to Jim Harbaugh for turning around this defense. Unlike that stupid ass Brandon Staley, who I believe should be fired. If he's I believe he's the Niners defensive coordinator. He should be fired. He should be fired. He should not go nowhere near a thing. Go back to IMG Academy. They need you there. But with Derwin James being there and Tony and Elijah Molden and Marcus May, this has to be the game for them. They have to be fully on point. And now, and one more thing I'll talk about the Bucks depth chart. Don't forget Cade Otton, who's emerging as that second option, especially with Chris Godwin being out. Oh, I forgot Jalen McMillan. I forgot Sterling Shepard, Trey Palmer. Do I need to go any further? Hell no. And Baker Mayfield can run. So there's one thing. Now, quickly, Bucks defense against the Chargers offense. Number one, if you're the Chargers, protect Justin Herbert from not throwing any other interceptions. Herbert's been doing pretty well, but there's an injury designation for him. He has a sprained ankle. The Chargers offensive line has to deal with two menaces. They have a law firm. It's by Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. You know they're two law partners, right? Both of them have 6 sacks so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
Separately. I mean, it's up. I mean, with Vita Vea attacking the middle, I would say I do have some faith with Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, Trey Pipkins, Joe Alt, and Rashawn Slater. They've been doing pretty well. But they need... I honestly think they need J.K. Dobbins. I mean, like, in order for the Chargers to, like, even to even stand a chance, I think I honestly think that J.K. Dobbins could try and make a comeback, but I think he's still on IR. So you got to rely on Gus Edwards because the Bucks defense is 25th against the run according to PFF. Although, and their pass defense has given up 253.4 yards per game. So, and we also have a big note. Lad McConkey might be coming back for this game. Wouldn't that be helpful, Anand? Wouldn't that be mother-loving helpful? Because if I'm the Chargers...
and T. Higgins would probably be helpful for next year.
Oh, dude, Lad McConkey and T. Higgins? Oh, incredible. Oh, yeah, Quentin Johnson, yes, he still has... I mean, he's been making plays, but hey, Quentin Johnson, if you're trying to catch a ball, I'm going to show you something. You need 2 hands, catch it like this or like that, and hold on to it. That's all we ask for. And with Will Disley being out, remember Stone Smart? Stone Smart. This could be another legacy game for him, man. Against the Chiefs, 3 targets, 3 receptions for 54 yards. He's been playing pretty damn well, and he's an excellent run blocker. So maybe they use him in like fullback positions. And I think like with who the offensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh is, I mean, they have to continue it. But
Greg Roman.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell of a turnaround. That's all I could say. But hey, the Bucks have showed they apparently have that. I mean, if you look at their entire depth chart, I'm gonna tell you this: KJ Britt out, Mike Edwards, their safety, and Antoine Winfield Jr. Both of them are out. They have to play with Kayvon Merriweather. Zion McCollum is their right corner, and Jamel Dean is their other corner. So they're going to go with Tyreek Funderburk and Kayvon Merriweather as safeties. And then, I forgot Tyke Smith. They could bring him as a nickel corner. And I mean, and Levante David's still there, but KJ Britt, he's out. So you may go with Vi Jones and Joe Tryon Shinoika. He's going to be questionable. Mm-hmm. But so it's going to be up to that Bucks 3-4 defense to go after Justin Herbert and make his life a living hell. And Herbert can't run. So again, hot routes, mesh, attack that middle of the field because the Bucks, they literally have an IR for our roster. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this. I think the Bucks will win this game. It's going to be very tight because hear me out. Even though they're injured, they know how to play these types of games and win it. With Baker Mayfield, as much as I hate his stupid ass Sooner guts, I still say fuck you, Baker Mayfield, from college till now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Bucks will win. Very tight game. I'm giving them 27-24 Bucks.
Okay. I could see that. I think it's I think the Chargers defense shows up again. They really locked down on some of the receiving threats for the Bucks. Now, I don't think it's going to be like Chiefs level of lockdown where they only score 19 points and they still end up losing because it's the Chiefs. But still, I think they probably lock it down. And I think the Chargers win 24-21.
Ooh, I could see that too. It's a toss-up game.
Yeah. That's
And,
what makes it a
and
good
the funny
Masala
thing
game.
is, I'm actually looking at the betting right now.
Uh-huh.
The over-under is 46.5.
Ooh.
The Chargers have -3 in their favor. So,
Oh, okay.
if you're betting for the Chargers, you go Chargers money line, take the points or something like that. I guess.
All righty. Well, that's going to be it for us today for recapping week 14 and previewing week 15. Back in the saddle again. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcasts on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Casts. Or send us an email at nflmasala@gmail.com, spelled as NFLMASALA @gmail.com. Or Rakshak,
You can also find us on YouTube, season 3 as well. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. And we're also on the following social media platforms: Twitter/X, Instagram, and we're on Threads. Yes, NFL Masala is on Threads. So again, Twitter/X, Instagram, Threads, under the same username, all lowercase, at NFL MASALA 2022. That is at NFL MASALA 2022.
and we're going to hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack Go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Thank you all for listening and have a good night.